कालीकूर्चसमायुक्त माया कूडोपदेशतः प्रणवार्तप्रबोधिन्यौ नमामि गुरुपादुके श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः क्रीं मात्रे नमः. Namasadase. Good afternoon to one and all. This is the continuation of the Hindu Holocaust narrative. And before I go into the Hindu Holocaust narrative, I would like to remind everybody of one simple fact. That is, I am speaking out against one particular Hindu guru, that is Nityananda. At the same time, I have also mentioned in so many times, in so many ways, that I am also not accepting any other yoga merchant. When I mention this, there are lots of problems, and people are identifying me with Isha Yoga. I have been a practitioner of Isha Yoga, no doubt about it. As a practice discipline, I have gained certain things from it, no doubt about it. And whatever else might be the complaint about Sadhguru Jagi Vasudev, the level of criminality to which Nityananda has fallen right now, the level of threat that which Nityananda is posing to the Hindu Sanatana Dharma, that is the highest right now in India. That is the reason why my concentration is on him. Other than that, I have always already insisted that all these organized gurus, whoever is out there, they are only second choices. If a traditional guru with whom you can relate on a one-to-one basis is not available for you, or if you are not in a position to find such a person, then you can go for this mass learning, like the Western education system. You can learn yoga like you are learning the Western education system. But the best thing to do will be to find a traditional guru belonging to your own community, belonging to your own lineage, belonging to your own native town. That person will be there. You can do that, and you have to do that. If that is not possible, whatever your grandfather has done, whatever your father has done, if that is not possible, that may have perished, or whatever might be the condition, but there will always be one guru like that. If that person is not available, if that ashram is not available, if that lineage is totally unavailable to you, or you are totally blank as to what it is, then you can go for certain other practices. That is all that is there to it. So let me make my point clear on that note, because this is becoming a conflict. So I want to make that very clear. And now, moving on with Nityananda's narrative of the Holocaust.
My ashrams were burnt and attacked and destroyed. Fortunately, some of my sannyasis gave their life and saved me. My quarters where I was staying, that hut, the traditional thatch roof, they pushed me, the terrorist gang pushed me inside that hut, putting the fire for the hut, knowing that I cannot get out. They locked the door from outside. This whole thing is being shown in live in national televisions. And police standing not to protect me, to take care none of my disciples come and put the fire off or save me. All my sadhus, my devotees were rushing to protect me, to put the fire off, were stopped by the police. Live relay is happening. This is shown live in national televisions. Police is there. Police handing me over literally to the terrorist gang to kill me. Fortunately.
Now I will show you the pictures that are being shown here. All I can see here is a hut is on fire, okay, and the locality around that hut looks like some sort of a slum region, and here the message that is below this thing, it is showing reporter broadcasts as the hut of Nitya NDH and a few followers had been trapped inside, and HDH narrowly escaped out of the small bathroom window. So this is what is the message that is being shown there. But what actually happened is this. This is a portion of the thatched roof buildings which are actually outside the Nityananda ashram, and that is exactly what the reporter is covering, and that is exactly what the reporter is saying. But these shameless people, they are telecasting this message and they are saying that it was Nityananda's hut which was put on fire. So this whole narrative of him being handed over to the mob and mob entering inside the ashram, putting everything on fire, all of the disciples, all of the devotees who have seen Nityananda's ashram, please tell me, does Nityananda live inside a hut or a concrete building? You have the answer to this question. You very well know what is known as the Raja Sabha, what is known as this Sabha, that Sabha, courtyard, all these things. Is that a thatched roof building? That is the residence of Nityananda. And this place, in the photo as you can see here, this whole place looks like somewhere outside, and there are clothes, women's clothing which is on the clothes line right outside the hut, and there is a dilapidated hut right next to this. Does this look like Nityananda ashram to you? That is my question to the viewers. So the narrative that they are saying and the pictures that they are showing do not match with one another. This is an incident which happened near the ashram, and there was some fire going on, there were protests going on, there is no doubt about it. If you call yourself a sannyasi and if you are bloody escaping from the state, you are putting everybody to shame, people will come and protest in front of your ashram. Because Hindus still have salt, still take their food with salt, and they have salt in their blood. So they will come and protest, no doubt about it. But the question is whether this is the same kind of mob lynching incident that has happened to the sadhus. I don't think so. If this is the same kind of Balidan incident that has happened, the Balidan that has happened, the wanton murder of Hindu leaders in Tamil Nadu, like you are saying Ramalingam's murder, you are speaking about Padi Suresh, you are speaking about Tirunelveli auditor Ramesh. Is this the same thing? No, I don't think so. So you are trying to twist the narrative and you are trying to create the sense of victimhood here with your talk. And another thing that you previously told in the video, I will show you the photo, is that the media tried to portray these sannyasis as thieves. This was on the very same day at 2 o'clock in the National Press API. The news is coming that, NPI, the news is coming that thieves, under quotation, okay, were lynched. Under quotation, that means the newspaper itself does not want to agree that they are thieves, and they are clearly saying that it is the Hindus. We need to, investigation is going on from the police end to find out the real identity of the victims. This is what was reported. The very next day, the whole narrative has shifted to clearly stating sadhus have been lynched. So here, in a way, the media did not try to twist this whole story around. In a way, they were only reporting the information that they are getting. That much is clear. So this whole narrative of creating a scenario of high tension, creating a scenario of high burning tension, that is only being done for your own advantage. Moving on.
Them. That is the most funny thing. They are brainwashed so thoroughly by the anti-Hindu media, the mass media cult, and entertainment industry cult. Cinema cult of India, cinema cult of India, entertainment industry cult of India, print media cult of India, social media cult of India, mass media cult of India has brainwashed Hindus.
Now, this is like schoolboy level name calling. For example, I am saying when I was studying in LKG, UKG, if I am saying you are a fool, then that boy will also say, no, you are only the fool, you are the fool, you are the fool. Like this, since the media is calling Nityananda's organization as a cult, he is putting that cult suffix behind every other, every other thing. Media cult, cinema cult, this cult, that cult. This is schoolboy level name calling, Rajashekara. You are falling down to levels which are not even beyond the levels of acceptable intelligence. Excuse me. Beyond the levels of acceptable intelligence, you are going lower and lower. Very, very bad. It is not at all something that is acceptable for any intelligent person. Now you are doing this name calling because you have been rightly called as a cult. Okay, let me ask you a very simple question. The Kumudam magazine was publishing your Kadavai Tera Katru Varattum, by which you became famous. At that time, was Kumudam not a cult, not a part of the cult? So many TVs were giving positive reviews about you before the sex scandal broke out. That point of time, it was not a cult. And as far as movies are concerned, the media, I agree that the media is is occupied by left-wing intellectuals. It is in the clutches of certain Marxist agenda. I agree with all these things. I am not saying no. But the problem here is you are trying to brand it entirely as something which is against Hindus. But we do have Tughlaq magazine, we do have New Indian Express, we do have Dinamalar in Tamil Nadu, and we do have Republic TV, up till a point of time NDTV, up till a point of time this one Pudhiya Thalaimurai. These are the media outlets which are also supporting Hindus. There might be political agenda, there might be political pressure, but fortunately the situation is not that much bad. This is what I am trying to convey here. Secondly, you are saying the entire thing has brainwashed the Hindus. What is there to brainwash? I seriously don't know. See, by creating a sense of colonialization, cultural colonialization in our minds, what we are trying to do here is we are trying to say Hinduism is lesser than anything else. But that situation is actually changing, and we are realizing our self-worth right now. The situation is actually improving, and you are only saying it is worsening just because you got caught red-handed and everybody asked you a question. Now you are calling everybody as a cult. This level of name calling is childish and you disgust me. Moving on.
Still, the majority of Hindus don't realize there's a war going on them. One by one, their leaders are eliminated. Their sadhus are killed. The next generation is not coming up to live the sannyas life or think for Hinduism. And even people who have taken up the Hindu sannyas life are thinking for Hinduism. The Hindu leaders, they are silenced. Politely, they just slow down, melt down, just collapse and live in one corner and die. They are separated from the mainstream Hindus, singling them out and eliminating them using hate speech, defamation, lawfare, persecution, ultimately mob lynching. Done.
So this is the sequence of events that he is trying to project here. What he is essentially saying is this, that is, whoever is a sannyasi is being persecuted. Now tell me, how many ashrams are there in India, both traditional and modern? Let us see. I think there will be lakhs and lakhs of organizations which are going on in India, especially in the past 100 years. So many new organizations have come, and how many organizations were persecuted? That is the question. And how many organizations persecution the media is taking up rigorously, and they are taking them to a point of time? How many organizations legal case is so strongly going on, the government is filing legal case against it and ending the organization? if you take this proportion, you will understand that not even 5% of the organizations are being silenced like this. And out of this 5%, close to 4% of the organizations are greedy bitches like Nityananda. So I am clearly saying one thing here, that is, the public support for Hinduism will never die, it will never change, whatever else happens. Even the ashrams, the thing he is trying to project here is that by taking sannyasa, only by taking sannyasa, you will be able to do service for Hinduism, you will be able to save Hinduism. No, let me tell you very clearly, very authoritatively, from an incident that was narrated by Krishna Premi Anna back in 1985 in a Upanyasa in Srirangam. It seems, and for those who do not know, Sri Krishna Premi Anna is one of the pioneers of Harikatha and pioneers of discourse, religious discourse in Tamil Nadu. He is from Madurai. And one more important information, he is a co-student of Jayendra Periva, who and they studied together in Madurai. They studied the Vedas together in Madurai as children. So Krishna Premi Anna is saying that he was conducting a discourse, Ramayana discourse, in the Rangamandabam in Srirangam. Okay, and there was another Upanyasaka, another person who was conducting the same Ramayana discourse, 7-day Ramayana discourse, Saptaha, in the Arjuna Mandaba. And there was a Dravidar Kazhagam meeting, DK meeting. DK is atheist party of Tamil Nadu, especially anti-Hindu atheism of Tamil Nadu, and they are conducting a meeting in the near the Golden Rock bridge, and they usually will be saying all things about Rama, Krishna, and all things about anti-Brahmin rhetoric. All these things will be there. So what is happening is, this Upanyasaka, the other Upanyasaka, is coming and telling the other person who is going to speak, he is coming and saying, tomorrow I am not going to conduct the discourse because I have to cross that Golden Rock bridge and come, and people may throw stones or shout slogans if they know that I am coming, so I am not going to hold the discourse. But Krishna Premi Anna said, I don't care, I am going to do that. So what happened was, they planned for this discourse, and then next day Krishna Premi Anna is coming in the car, the meeting is going on, they are scolding Rama, Krishna, everything. He is coming to the temple, passing by that meeting, and he is conducting his Ramayana discourse inside the temple. No incident happened. Then 3 days after that, he tried to come out into the Tiruchi Srirangam road, but he was unable to enter the road, move his car into the main road, because there was so much crowd on the street. And what was the incident? That was the year when the Rapattu Utsavam, the 10-night ceremony of Srirangam Perumal temple, and the Utsava of and the carnival of Samayapuram Mariamman came together in the same time. So people were going from here to there, from there to here, the entire street is blocked. Lakhs and lakhs of people. Now Krishna Premi Anna is asking this question to everybody. He is asking, did these people come because I was speaking, or will these people not come? Can the DK party, can this atheist party stop these people from coming? Can I claim that lamps are burning in the temple only because of what I am speaking, only because I am speaking about Ramayana, that Rama is known in the world? Can I say that? It is impossible. Whatever anybody is doing, including Nityananda, that is only a drop in the ocean of Hinduism. The natural Hinduism that is available with the rural people, with the illiterate people, with the commoners, all the way till the educated elite. That is the spirit of Hinduism. Not some sannyasi. That too a modern sannyasi like Nityananda sannyasi who will wear makeup and speak bad words. Those people don't save Hinduism, Rajashekara. Remember that. You are just a clown who is acting Udarnamittam Bahukrita Vesham. You are putting all this makeup, all this jewelry on, and you are coming and giving some sort of Holocaust scenario because you want to make money. You want everybody to be afraid. Because afraid, frightened people are easy to mellow down. They are easy to manipulate. They will become like clay in your hands. That is exactly what you want, and that is why you are twisting this scenario to your ends. Continuing on.
and Hindu leaders. Evidence. And even when they put me off, I can show you photographs and video records and enough evidence. And even when they put me in my room and locked the room outside and put fire and attempting to burn me alive, actually as far as they are concerned, they burnt me alive. That's the truth. Kalabhairava saved me. Paramashiva saved me. When they literally murdered me, they were trying to show as if it is some angry villagers try to burn the ashram. No, it is the organized, planned terrorist mob. Came with petrol bombs and everything needed to burn the ashram and kill me. Ordinary villages, local villages will not have access to all these explosives and other materials which was used in attacking an attempt to kill me.
Appa Rajashekara, you are taking this up to the next level right now. Let me make it very clear. If you are having evidence of an organized attack, terrorist attack as you are saying, will you be sitting quite like this? Even without evidence, you are putting so many cases against so many people. If you are able to identify the people who have attacked you, will you keep silent? Are you that much of an innocent fellow? Yamavalada Parthavagara? In whose mouth are you keeping banana? Keep it in your mouth. You are not an innocent fellow, you are the criminal. So I am telling you very clearly that whatever has happened there in the ashram, it is very much possible for as you said, for villagers or for the local people to do that. Because I will not tell you the way in which a petrol bomb can be prepared, but let me tell you one thing, it can be prepared at your home. On the street, on the go, you can do that. Very simple process. And another thing, was RDX used? Was a bomb, grenade used? You are speaking as if people came with AK-47. Nothing of that sort happened in your case. All that happened is some people came together, they threw some petrol bombs on some buildings outside your ashram. And where is this whole thing about you staying inside that place? You are inside the walls. This is happening outside the walls. What nonsense are you speaking about? See, all you need is one photograph of a hut burning. You can even take it from the internet and you can say whatever you want about it. And people will listen to you because you are making them afraid. And that is exactly what is your ploy here. I will not listen to your ploy. I will only keep exposing you. That being said, let us continue on.
Whatever items used is not available for common man.
Yes, RDX was used, gelatin sticks was used, and then hand grenades were used. Show me the proof. You have no such proof. Only some burning photos. This burning even you yourself could have done. See, you hit your own sannyasi and you said that Swarna TV reporter has hit the sannyasi. That came out in the media as well. That came out in the media. They exposed you very clearly, showing your people hitting your own sannyasi. So you are that sort of a person. Again and again you are insisting as if some huge, RDX, AK-47, all these things were involved in the attack. Bullshit. Just like your face. Moving on.
Are the local villagers. It was a planned conspiracy. Because every face in the terrorist gang, not a single person is a local face. We have video records. They were brought from somewhere, very organized way in vehicle, with all the weapons and everything needed, explosives and everything, to kill me. And I am telling you, it is not spontaneous anger shown as protest and some attack, innocent spontaneous attack. No, it's a planned terrorist attack. I have faced this multiple times in multiple states of India. North, south, east, west. Me and my Sangha has faced.
Okay, again, this is just blowing things out of proportion. Let me make that very clear. This is simply blowing things out of proportion because of one simple reason. Very, very simple reason. That is, please understand this. If such a terrorist gang was organized, who organized it? Who were the parties behind it? And when this attack happened, after this attack happened, you are very much in India, you are conducting programs in India, you are getting disciples in India. The only place you were unable to come inside was Tamil Nadu, and that too was because of political pressure and not because of the life threat or anything. And even during that time you are coming incognito, you are coming with all sorts of what do you call that, maruvesham, all sorts of makeup and disguises. You are staying in a bungalow in Adayar and you are giving darshan only to very rich disciples. We know all these things. We know, we have sources inside your ashram. You don't understand. So we know where you are moving, what you are doing. So basically this is exactly what you are doing. You had unrestricted access all over India, and it was only after that you are able to construct a whole place in Kumbh Mela. It was only after this incident that you are able to conduct so many programs in your ashram. That was a mob incident, protest, because of the sex scandal people were unable to tolerate. Now you are saying that none of that was a local phase, we are having video evidence. If you are having video evidence, why did you not file a single case against any of these anti-Hindu elements? That is my question. You are able to file 18 cases against Aarti Rao, 18 cases against Lenin Karuppan. Then why are you not even naming the fellow who attacked you? You are saying Kalabhairava protected you, you are saying Paramashiva protected you, you are saying you have left India and you will never come back to India, you will never be available for them. Then why the hell are you not saying their names even now? Because those are imaginary people. The so-called conspirators against Nityananda are imaginary people. He will not be able to tell their names now, he will not be able to tell their names ever. He will only say some boogeyman scenario like some people are existing, they are trying to kill me. Okay, this is exactly what he is doing, and he is not naming anybody because he doesn't have any names to name other than the people who have actually come out of the ashram, his own ashram, and are standing up against him. You are putting case against the CVC, Child Welfare Authority. You are putting case against Janardhan Sharma. You are putting case against Aarti Rao, Lenin Karuppan, Vinay Bharadwaj. Then why are you not filing cases against the people who have attacked you? If there is such a person existing other than a mob, file the case. I am challenging Nityananda devotees right here to ask your Guru the exact face of the person who is behind this. Get an answer and tell that answer out in the public. I dare you to do it. This basic honesty, this basic integrity, if you are not having as a sannyasi, if this basic information, if you are not able to provide as a sannyasi, then you are covered. You are a chicken. If you are a chicken, if you are a coward, then there is no way in which you can call yourself enlightened. Because the boldness that was displayed by Mahatma Gandhi, the boldness that was displayed by Subhash Chandra Bose, the boldness that was displayed by Rajguru, Sukhdev, Bhagat Singh, the boldness that was displayed by Vanjinathan, by Swami Vivekananda, by Bharati, all of this boldness, speaking out the truth in the public and doing the action that is required to maintain the truth, for saving the truth in the public, that satyagraha, that agraha, that hold or that liking or that passion towards the truth, if that is there, then you will name names. You will call them out in public. You will say, you are the fellow who has attacked me. You are responsible for this. The people must know. The people will ask you questions. You must answer. I will ask you questions. You must answer. That is how the discourse will go. If you are a honest and a truthful person, you will not run away and sit in some place and then start bitching stories. Like, I was tried to kill, it was a conspiracy, it was a planned attack. Who planned it, ba? Who planned it, Rajashekara? You tell me. I am asking you straight away, who planned the attack? Do you have an answer for this? I know very well your close devotees are watching this video and you are getting this information. Okay, so you please think before you speak, because people are watching you carefully and people are intelligent enough to point out your lies. I am doing it. Many more people will do it in the future. That being said, तच्चं योरा वृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वञ्जिगातु वेषजं शन्नो अस्तु द्विपते सञ्चतुष्पते ॐ शान्तिः 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 नमः सदसे।